All right, diving right in. Looks like we're talking about the future of identity in finance today. You all sent us the Worldcoin white paper, and wow, it's a dense one. But hey, that's what we're here for, right? To break it down together.
Yeah, and it's certainly ambitious. WorldCoin isn't just talking about a new cryptocurrency. They're talking about changing how we think about digital identity, economic participation on a global scale, really.
Absolutely. Right off the bat, they hit you with this statistic. Over 2 billion people without access to traditional financial systems. That's a huge chunk of the population. And that's where they see the opportunity. WorldCoin wants to bridge that gap with a digital ID anyone can get, potentially opening up, well, a world of economic opportunity for those folks.
It's an interesting idea. Imagine proving you're a real human being. That's all you need to get into the global economy. No bank accounts, no credit history, not even physical documents.
That's a powerful idea. They call this digital identity World ID. It'd be tied to their cryptocurrency, WLD, at least where regulations allow. But let's back up a sec. Why even prove you're human? Why does that matter?
Well, that's where AI comes in.
Yeah.
As AI gets more and more sophisticated, being able to tell the difference between a real person online and a bot, that's going to be crucial. Think about preventing election interference, making sure everyone has fair access online, stuff like that.
So it's bigger than just robots versus humans. It's about everyone having an equal shot in the digital world, accessing financial services, having a voice online, the whole 9 yards.
Exactly. WorldCoin's argument is that a secure digital ID, something verifiable globally, that's the foundation for a more equitable and inclusive digital future.
Okay, so that's the why. What about the how? How do they actually plan to pull this off? And they keep mentioning proof of personhood.
Right, that's at the core of their system, verifying that someone is a unique, living person, not a bot, not some deep fake, not someone trying to cheat the system.
And this is where it gets really interesting because their solution is iris scanning, right? With this device called the orb.
You got it. The Worldcoin white paper, it really digs into the science of iris biometrics. Their argument is that it's the most secure, most reliable way to verify unique identities, especially on such a large scale.
That's a bold claim, but they back it up. Apparently, the odds of 2 irises matching are astronomically small. Like 1 in 40 trillion, they say. To put it in perspective, that's winning the lottery multiple times over, and then some.
It's a level of uniqueness that goes way beyond fingerprints or even facial recognition, according to them at least. And the orb, their custom-built iris scanner, that's how they capture it all.
Okay, I'll be honest. When I first heard scanning your iris, I immediately thought dystopian sci-fi movie, right? But before we jump into the potential issues, and we will untack those, don't worry, let's talk about the orb itself.
It really is a fascinating piece of tech. They designed it from scratch with privacy and security in mind.
So it's not just snapping a selfie with your eye.
Not even close. We're talking multiple cameras, specialized lighting, advanced image processing, all in one portable device. They argue that even existing cameras, even the fancy ones on high-end smartphones, they just don't have the resolution, the imaging capabilities you'd need for iris scanning that's truly accurate and secure. Plus, there's always that risk of someone just, holding up a picture of an eye to the camera trying to cheat the system.
Which, let's be real, we've all seen that in a movie somewhere.
Yeah.
So they created the orb to basically sidestep all that, right?
Yeah.
It's like a mini portable iris scanning lab, or at least that's what they're going for.
It's true. They've got multiple cameras in there, near-infrared imaging, so stuff we can't even see, even a whole lighting system built in, all to make sure the images are super high quality no matter where you are.
Okay, yeah, that is some serious tech. But once the orb's, done scanning my eye, what happens to that data? That's where I start to get a little, I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. A valid concern. And the white paper, to be fair, they do spend a lot of time addressing that. They really emphasize that the orb itself, it doesn't keep any of your personal info.
Yeah.
And that iris code it creates, that's meant to be totally anonymous.
So no digital copy of my eyeball floating around some server.
Not at all. The raw image of your iris, it never leaves the orb itself. Unless, and this is important, unless you say it's okay to share it, maybe for some research thing, what actually gets sent to the Worldcoin system is this, super condensed code derived from the scan. And it's encrypted, of course.
And this code, this is where those zero-knowledge proofs come in, right? The ZKPs.
Bingo! ZKPs are fascinating, really. It's cryptography, but basically, you're proving you have some piece of information without actually revealing the information itself. So it's like, imagine proving you're old enough to vote without saying your birthday, or proving you've got enough cash for a purchase, but your bank balance stays secret.
Okay, that makes sense. So with Worldcoin, you're proving you've got a unique iris, meaning you're a unique human, but your actual iris scan stays under wraps.
Exactly.
Pretty clever. But what about the system itself, the one that's storing all these, anonymous iris codes? Couldn't that be hacked?
That's where the blockchain part comes in. Worldcoin's using a decentralized network to store and secure all these codes. So it's incredibly hard for any one person or group to mess with the data.
Decentralization seems to be like the buzzword in crypto, right?
Yeah.
Could you maybe break down how that works here and why it's supposed to be so secure?
Think of a normal database. All the info's in one place, right? Sitting duck for a hacker. But with a decentralized network, like what WorldCoin's doing, that data is spread out. Multiple computers all over the world, no one central point of failure.
So even if one part gets hacked, the rest keeps going.
Pretty much. Plus, all that data is encrypted, secured using, serious cryptography, way harder to tamper with.
They've really put a lot of thought into the tech side. But building a secure system, that's just one piece of this.
Yeah.
What about the bigger picture, creating one global digital ID? What are the ethics of that?
Now that is where it gets complicated.
And that's exactly what we're going to be diving into in part 3 of our Worldcoin deep dive.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've spent the last 2 episodes going deep on Worldcoin, their big vision, that whole sci-fi orb thing.
But like we were saying, the tech itself is just one piece of a much bigger, puzzle, I guess. The real question, the make it or break it for Worldcoin, is going to be how they deal with the social side, the ethical questions.
Because, sure, building a secure system for digital ID, that's one thing, but getting billions of people to actually use it, especially when you're talking about something as sensitive as, biometric data, that's a whole other story.
Totally. And I do think their white paper, for as ambitious as it is, it gets that. They realize this isn't just about the tech, it's about trust too.
They say a lot about privacy, data security, but there's always that thought in the back of your head. What if, despite their best intentions, what if something goes wrong? And even if the tech's flawless, there's still the question of who's in control. Who gets to decide how this world ID is used, how it changes over time? That's where their focus on decentralization comes in, I guess.
Right, because right now, it's the Worldcoin Foundation running the show. But their plan is to hand that over. Community governance, they call it, where people who have their WLD token, they get a say.
It's kind of like how some other crypto projects work. Tokens equal voting rights, power to make decisions, though whether they can pull that off on a global scale with potentially billions of users? We'll see.
Talk about a massive undertaking. And it gets even trickier when you think about the implications of everyone having one single digital ID.
Right. I mean, think about all the ways we use ID now. Bank accounts, voting, government services, even just proving how old you are. What if World ID becomes the standard for all of that?
On the one hand, it could be huge for folks who don't have those traditional forms of ID. But on the other hand, you've got privacy concerns, worries about control, even the potential for some people to get left out.
Exactly. What about people who don't want to use it? For whatever reason, will they be shut out if you need a World ID for basic stuff?
These aren't just, what-if scenarios. These are the real-deal dilemmas we got to figure out as this tech develops.
And it's crucial to remember, tech in itself, it's not good or bad. It's a tool. Like any tool, it's how we use it that matters.
What safeguards are in place? What are the risks? That's why conversations like this, open and informed, they're so important.
Absolutely. Because the future of digital identity, it shouldn't be decided by a few tech companies or governments. This is going to affect all of us.
We hope these deep dives into Worldcoin, all 3 parts, that they've given you a better handle on the tech, the potential benefits, and the very real risks that come with it.
It's a complicated issue, no doubt, but hopefully this gets people thinking critically about what kind of digital future we're all building here.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as always, keep digging, keep asking the tough questions, and keep the conversation going. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Worldcoin.